Hey there, folks. It's Javier here, coming to you live. Um, I felt very compelled tonight to get on this live, to have a very serious conversation with you guys. A very serious, a very serious, honest, heart to heart with you guys. And the topic tonight is going to be about the topic of free speech. And part two of this video is going to be about the martyrization of Charlie Kirk as I see it happening today. Um, we need to have a serious talk about free speech because I want to express, from person to person to you guys that as a person in this country who leans progressive, who leans left, I'm terrified. And not only am I terrified, I'm terrified for the direction that our country is headed tonight, or the direction that our country is headed right now. And we need to discuss it. We need to discuss it. Now, as we all know, before I get started on everything, we all know that there is one thing to say about Charlie Kirk, is that he was a fierce advocate for free speech, and a fierce advocate to say what is on your mind, whatever is on his mind, doesn't matter how brutal it is. And as we know, he did that a lot. He did that a lot. I have a list here of things that he said. Before I get into my next part, I have a list here of things that he said. And I want you to bear in mind that as much as I disagree with him on these things, as vile as the things he said are, at the end of the day, it was his right to say those things. And that's going to lead me to the next part of the video. So, we're going to begin here. During an April 2023 podcast appearance in Salt Lake City campus at the Awakening Church, Charlie Kirk said, and this one has been popular because it's been going around really exposing conservative hypocrisy in ways that, people just don't seem to care about today. And this is the popular one. I'm going to keep going down. It's worth it to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our God-given rights. That's a prudent deal. Unfortunately, this was tremendous hypocrisy when he said that. We already established that this was the most popular quote going around because he was literally a victim of one of those gun deaths that he literally was willing to die for, which he did. In March of 2024, Charlie Kirk said on his show, "The Great Replacement Strategy is well underway." This is scary. "The Great Replacement Strategy is well underway every single day in our southern border. And it's a strategy to replace white rural America with something different." So the Great Replacement Strategy is, the idea of it is extremely racist. Extremely racist. The Great Replacement Strategy is the idea that, that we're letting in all these immigrants and soon they're going to outnumber white people. And honestly, who cares? If immigrants one day outnumber white people, who cares? Why should we care about that? Because at the end of the day, people are people. Human beings are human beings. If you have to learn a new language or whatever, who cares? Learn something new. There's a lot of fear mongering. This just all goes to the point that, among white community, there is so much fear mongering about being outnumbered by immigrants one day. Now, so this was the whole Great Replacement thing that Kirk believed, which is a very, kind of a white supremacist belief that's held. Kirk decried what he described as the myth of Martin Luther King Jr., calling him awful and not a good person. Another time declaring him a serial adulterer, an alleged rapist, a reparations proponent, and a race Marxist. So obviously he held some very nasty views about Martin Luther King, calling him a race Marxist, calling him a reparations opponent, calling him an alleged rapist, a serial adulterer. Maybe there's some truth to some of these. I don't know, but I think that, the attacks on Martin Luther King, who literally led the civil rights movement, are really disgusting and show a lot of what was on his character. a fierce opponent of DEI initiatives, diversity, equity, and inclusion, something that I strongly believe in. Now, we can disagree and debate this, but I think that, designed to give derepresentation of marginalized communities equal opportunities. He said, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. I heard him say that. Charlie Kirk show on the 23rd of January, 2024. On April 30th of 2025 of his Charlie Kirk reiterated his unapologetic Islamophobia, saying large dedicated Islamic areas are a threat to America. On the 2024 show, Charlie Kirk quoted the Leviticus passages calling for gay people to be stoned to death, referencing it's God's perfect law. A call for Nuremberg-style trials for every gender-affirming clinic doctor. We can debate this stuff. Although through Jesus' life and ministry overflowed with compassion of the poor, the sick and vulnerable, Kirk said, I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term. It does a lot of damage. Also, we're going to go back to the Charlie Kirk show. We're going to go back to another quote. I want to see executions on TV. Imagine if Coca-Cola sponsored executions. That would be so American, so patriotic. People would tune in. I think children at a certain age in institutions should be required to watch. Public executions by guillotines are holy. He held obviously, some very, 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 very sick views. Very sick views. And this is just scratching the surface. Now, granted, his views are his free speech. As America, embedded in the Constitution, we have a right to free speech in this country. We all do. Even the worst of the worst do, no matter how bad it is. Now, where I'm getting at right now is where we're going to get to the difficult part of this conversation. And we need to have the difficult part of this conversation. First off, I want to say very clearly that personally, I condemn anybody that is celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. I condemn it. It's not right to celebrate a murder, and it's not right to take a life. It doesn't matter if it was Melissa Hoffman or any of the school children or Pulse nightclub or Hang Mike Pence or the attempted kidnapping of Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. The attempted kidnapping of Governor Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan, or the attacking the House or whatever, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. All political violence and must be condemned. And by the way, in the case of Melissa Hoffman, the guy had a hit list, and they were all Democrats. That's just a fact. Now, continuing on. We know that Charlie Kirk said horrible things. And we know that it is morally wrong to celebrate the death of, to celebrate any kind of murder. Granted. I am worried because right now, and I want to express to you guys why I'm afraid as a liberal-leaning person in this country, especially as a Christian who leans liberal, all right? Unapologetically, because I stand by my views. I'm firm in my convictions and I stand on my views. So I saw a post coming from Donald Trump for president saying this, and I'm going to show you guys a couple of things right now. An online searchable database of nearly 40,000 or more. An online searchable database of nearly 40,000 or more leftists celebrating Charlie Kirk's assassination will be soon available along with their employer. The storm is here. So we're targeting civilians in this country because they're exercising their free speech to do something, but it gets worse. It's not just targeting. It's not just about Charlie Kirk's assassination. It's not just about people who are celebrating it. I'm already seeing people being fired. I already heard of Delta and American Airlines and many other companies firing employees just for speaking out against Charlie Kirk like I am. Just for speaking the truth about him. For speaking out against the things that he said. For speaking out against him, personally. And people are getting fired for that. People are getting exposed on social media for that. People are getting targeted on social media for that. Is this the kind of country we want to live in? Where our free speech is limited? Continuing on. I'm exposing this post here from Joey Manorano saying, get the information of anybody celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. If they have a picture in their profile without a name, download the picture and reverse image search it. Whoa. That's stalking. That's stalking right there. Cross-reference with any LinkedIn profile of their and find the place of employment. Find their place of employment. Call the place of employment. Leave Google reviews, all you can about that employee. Ensure people are without jobs and not among us in a polite society. If you need help amplifying, DM or post to people. They must be fired. Folks, this is wrong. This right here, this is wrong. You can't do this. You can technically do this, but this is wrong to do. Like I told you, I condemn the celebrating of Charlie Kirk's death in any way. But to be targeting people who are speaking out against Charlie Kirk, who don't agree with Charlie Kirk's views, who have been open critics about Charlie Kirk since his death, and to say they must be exposed on their Facebook profile and fired from their jobs. And I'm already seeing many, many, many people being fired from their jobs because of this. Who's going to speak out? Who's going to speak out for getting on social media and saying what they really think about Charlie Kirk, expressing their true feelings about Charlie Kirk, exercising their right to free speech? And they're being exposed on social media, targeted on social media, being declared open season on to be fired from their jobs. Folks, this is scary. This is very, very, very scary. And it needs to be addressed. It needs to be spoken against. You know, here's a sad truth. And I saw this posted here. I'm going to show it to you guys. Sad truth. Sad truth. The sad fact is, if Tyler Robinson had used his gun to massacre students at Utah Valley University instead of just fatally shooting Charlie Kirk, Republicans wouldn't care this much. I saw another post saying Republicans would have moved on already. They would have. If this were just a normal school shooting. You know, another post said that this is the first school shooting the Republicans actually cared about. And it's not right. It's not right. No, I'm gonna give you guys an opinion here that's gonna be very bold and honest. Okay? I don't believe that people actually care about Charlie Kirk. The people that are idolizing him, martyrizing him, all this stuff, don't actually care about the man. They're using this to declare open season on the left. They're exploiting Charlie Kirk's death to declare open season on those of us who lean liberal, on those of us who hold a progressive worldview, on those of us who believe in liberal values such as healthcare, food stamps, and civil rights. And, LGBT rights too, and many, many, many other things. I can go down the line. Environmental policies, welfare programs that for people that need it, food stamps, healthcare, welfare, all that stuff. I can go down a list, but that's not the point of this video. We need to wake up and see what